sailing away, my own true love. Sailing away in the morning. I've had in my time decades of creative writing students, and the first question I ask them is like, what do you read? And if they say, I don't read, I'll say, then you can't be a writer. You're kidding yourself. And I would say the same with young songwriters. Listen. Well, that's easy to answer because it's lyrics. When I'm writing music, I don't have any problem generating lyrics because I've read a ton of poetry and literature, and I worked in words for, 3-4 decades. So it's not a matter of writing lyrics, it's a matter of sorting out what the good verses are and getting rid of the rest, And I say this only because some very good musicians I know craft beautiful chord progressions and melodies, but they'll say, I can't write any good lyrics. And I kind of sympathize, To turn that around, I don't think of myself as a natural musician, so I work hard on the chord progressions and the musicality of the melodies, Melody is not easy. Like, the reason people should envy Paul McCartney is it's like melodies came at him like a fountain, effortlessly it seemed. Well, it's kind of folk and blues based, and the stuff we're doing in the Birdhouse Studio pretty much follows that vein. I stay away from power chords or anything like that. It's kind of folk blues. That's what it is, yeah. Well, it usually for me starts with a chord progression. I'll be noodling around, and I've got to admit, often in an open tuning. So guitar players out there, if you're not playing in drop D or open E or open G, get busy. Don't just stick with the standard tuning. What are you thinking? Like, you'll open up a whole new world. So I'll find some interesting chords, and I'll try to build the basic sketch out of the verse chords and the chorus chords as best I can. Then I'm usually, everybody has stuff going through their mind, so I pick something that seems meaningful to me that I've kind of been waiting to pounce on to express, and I start matching the lyrics to the rhythm, and I just write a bunch of lyrics. And then the other thing is, you have to be prepared to throw the whole thing away. I easily throw away as many songs as I decide to work on, because that's the writing process, whether you're writing a novel, poetry, or songs. It's all the same. Because you like playing it, and you like singing it, and for me, I'm not embarrassed to sing any of the lyrics. I work on the lyrics till I'm not embarrassed to sing them. That's my rule, yeah. One of the best things I've ever seen that has it all is one of the songs the Beatles played in their famous rooftop session, which was a live performance, and it was the song Don't Let Me Down. And the reason it's so great is because if you drop out any one of the players, the song can't work. They're all pitched together to make that sound. And then, of course, it's a beautiful song. Well, these are, so I'm writing all the time, and at this time, parallel to this work here, I work in a different studio on more rock and roll tunes, because the guy who's running that studio, I play with him once a week in a rock and roll jam. We're not a band that plays out any place, but we jam faithfully every Tuesday. And what's great about that jam is when I started doing it, they said, you can't play wrong notes here. It's a jam, which is very liberating. No one's watching you. No one's expecting anything of you. You just go in there and try out something, and if they latch onto it, we have a great time. So I try the songs I'm doing with him come out of that rock and roll mayhem. Yeah.
Very cool.
It's better than I expected it to be. It's just a really peaceful spot, and somehow it's set up so it's very easy to focus on what you're doing. And Martha gives you just enough heat, pressure to up your game with what you're doing. That's what I like about the process. Yes, and there's a reason I use it. So, one of the guitar players that plays in the rock and roll jam, his rule is to never spend more than $300 on a guitar, and then he just kind of pulls the pickups and soups them up. But I'm the opposite. It's like I got, through luck, a very fine guitar, and people that know about a Gibson ES 335 made in Memphis, Tennessee, because what Gibson did, they decided to reissue classic configurations of their instruments. And this is basically like an early 60s B.B. King guitar. And in fact, I don't want to get too technical, it has this on it. This is a Veritone knob built into the guitar, and it gives different tones right on the guitar. So if I start playing something and it sounds too trebly, or I want it to just have a different tone, I just switch it right away. Even if I'm starting a song in performance, I can just quickly adjust it, which is a great asset. Then it has my beloved whammy bar, right? What am I in, an open tuning? Anyway, so that you can bend notes with that. And most importantly, it's semi-hollow. So a setup that's semi-hollow is good for folk picking. You can just or you can do power chord rock and roll. And these, I've been told, are real good pickups. So if on the same day I've played a gig playing my folk blues stuff, then gone to the rock jam and played at ear-splitting volume with a slide. So it's very versatile, and that's why I like it. Well, the most immediate ones, I have bookings at the Dockside 2 in Morro Bay, which is a lovely, lovely spot. For whatever reason you go there, it's right on the water and you can see the rock, and it's just so nice. And then, but this month maybe is just the 2 dates coming up. One is at Kitchen and Vine in Slow, which is a kind of recently built complex of restaurants and shops, really worth a visit. And they have a nice kind of outdoor deck there for performers. And then Dockside 2 again 2 days after that on July 22nd, which I think is a Tuesday. So Sunday, Tuesday this month. And what's great is that gives me 3 weeks to practice, because practice makes perfect, right? Yeah. I would say, like you'd say to, I've had in my time decades of creative writing students. And the first question I ask them is what do you read? And if they say, I don't read, I'll say, then you can't be a writer. You're kidding yourself. And I would say the same with young songwriters. Listen to as many different kinds and varieties and styles of music as you can. If you admire a song, we are so lucky to live in the age of the internet. You can go on YouTube and listen to 10 different versions of that song, recorded, live, folk, rock and roll. Get to know the song and ask yourself, why do you like that song? Then that's your springboard. You're finding kind of your niche, and then try your luck. And remember, not everything you write down has to be kept. Just keep creating and keep the good stuff. That's the process, yeah. Well, I'm sailing away my own